Hey Libra, welcome to your end of April, beginning of May tarot reading. My name is Dre. Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So yeah, let's get started. Now I didn't watch, look at you guys' last video. I know you guys like it when I incorporate past readings into the current reading. But for the sake of time, because I'm busy, so I'm just gonna go. And I feel like I've gotten the gist, because all the signs, they each have, there's of course the universal lessons that we all are undergoing. That's on a more astrological level. But even on a sign by sign basis, we each have our own things happening, and there's like a general theme for each sign, I find. So yeah, I'm using the same spread I did last month. It's a spread that actually really works for me. I've discovered after I've just started playing around with it, and I like it. And let's see if there's anything else I have to say. So you guys, in your sign, Libra, there was a full moon not that long ago. And I feel like that, I might have mentioned this even in the last reading, because I think I recorded that right around the Libra. I think I actually recorded it like the day before or the day after the Libra new moon. And I didn't even, or full moon, and I didn't even mention it. Because there was something special about that reading, I remember, where it just felt like, I think you guys had like a lot of major arcana cards. But it was really just this feeling of you guys just really stepping into this other part of yourself. I mean, again, that's the universal energy that's going around. That's not anything particularly new. But with me, it really felt like different. You along, again, I'll mention this with every one of you guys' videos, you Cancer, Capricorn, and Aries, you're really coming into this. Life is kind of difficult because you guys are forced to actually see and feel and witness all these changes in your life. And boy, I'm just looking at the cards now, it's just like, I just really get the sense that there's just this part of you guys that's like, and it's a weird energy for Libra to sort of come into, because Libra, each sign is unique, but I see Libra as very interesting because I have like no Libra in my chart. I know a few Libras. Like the energy in itself is not very, compared to all the other cardinal signs, it's more dependent upon ourselves in relations to other people. And so it's not about like Aries, which is more just totally independent and just focused on that, or Capricorn, which is more about authority, or Cancer, which is, again, Cancer is more people oriented as well, but their feelings play such a huge factor. Their emotions, who they love and what they're and how they create and all that stuff. I mean, Libra too, but this is an energy I feel like that's happening where it's either involving you and directly one other person, or just you having to sort of look at your polarity point, the opposition, which is Aries, and actually having to not be afraid to like sort of like stand out and stand in your own skin and just be unafraid to do that, to make a clear decision, to actually stand on your own 2 feet and to not be apologetic about it at all. And so at the bottom of the deck, we have the 3 of Wands. We have the 5 of Swords. I'm not using reversals in this deck. This is the Golden Thread Tarot. It just doesn't seem like a deck to use reversals to me. The Ace of Wands, the Devil, 4 of Wands, the Wheel, Six of Wands, Six of Swords, Two of Swords, Ten of Pentacles, and Judgment. Now, there's not a wasted card in this deck. I really feel like each card here is very significant. You know, that's always the case, but you know, some cards are just like, meh. But I really do feel like every card here is important. You have two sixes. You have the 3, 4, and 6 of Wands, the 5, the 2, 5, and 6 of Swords, as well as the Ace of Wands, 10 of Pentacles. I mean, and another 10 here with the Wheel. I think Taurus had 2 10s, or Capricorn, whichever reading. They also had 2 10s. Can't remember. And then you have 20, Judgment. So, I mean, just right off the bat, I don't even know where to start. Let's start. I'll start over here. So again, with communication, when it comes to actually understanding what's good, what's bad for us, what works, what doesn't, you have to ultimately not be too concerned about whether or not. And again, this is a theme I feel like for most of the Libra readings I've done, where it's just like you can't be too hung up on trying to either appeal to anybody or trying to placate other people, to, you know, at a detriment to your own ego, to a detriment to your own self-worth. With the 3 of Wands at the bottom of this deck, and again, Jupiter's in your sign. 3s are a number of building and expansion in tarot. Jupiter represents expansion. Jupiter's in your sign in Libra. It's retrograde now. But regardless, it's more about trying to corral or gain control of this energy that is not going to escape you, but it's more like trying to realize where in your life you have chance for growth, where in your life you have chance, you know, you have a chance to actually sort of, you know, make better, just sort of bring more into your life. 3s are communication, it's talking to other people. And I feel like you've had this message, I feel like a couple times before, where it's like, you can't be afraid to actually meet new people and sort of expand yourself and expand your network of friends, and expand, because I feel like that would be a very beneficial thing for you guys. Because some of you might just be hanging around like the same old kind of people. You might just be with the same sort of, it's interesting, there's no cups here. So again, that's just sort of further, sorry to just sort of go off on a different tangent, but I'll finish that thought, where it's like you guys have to sort of expand your horizons. Like maybe you guys have been sort of, or it could be a move. Maybe some of you guys, or maybe you could just be communicating with somebody that's like overseas, or like there's this long distance communication between you guys. But I still feel like that you guys still have this ability to sort of understand what you want and how to get it. And I feel like that is going to drive this energy going forward into this time frame. And I feel like that would be important to at least keep a cognizant, keep conscious effort to recognize where you can expand who you talk to, or your creative ideas, or where to place your passion, what you have gained. I feel like some of you have this talent, you have these creative ideas, you have these desires that you really want to act on, and to not be afraid to do that, to go ahead and do it regardless, because I'm getting the sense that the situation around you is sort of tense. It's like, I feel like you're jockeying. Again, I feel like somebody is like either keeping you down, your mind is hung up on drama, petty drama. And I feel like with the 5 of Swords and the 6 of Wands, excuse me, one expression of this is that you're probably, if you are in like some little like drama with either some friends or a loved one, I mean, it could be a loved one, where it's just like, you would rather, it's just like this constant pissing match. It's this constant, you know, things are sort of fine, but then things sort of go haywire the next second. And it's more like the arguments are always based on, you know, probably, you know, you won't let me do what I want to do, or somebody is like, they think you're trying to control them, even though you're really not. This person is probably maybe a little egocentric, and that probably just grinds in your gears a lot, or they might think you are. And it's just that there's these constant words exchanged, and there's no, I feel like there's no relief from that. But I feel like the relief will come. Fives are always all about transformation. You can't go into a five and come out the same way. And I feel like there is such a cycle of completion here. There's such a cycle of things ending, things dying, that it's going to be sort of impossible, especially if you guys are looking for things to change. It's going to be impossible to actually sort of hold on to these old thought patterns, these old beliefs, these old ways of doing things, these old ways of seeing people, and these old ways of looking at ourselves and looking at our own sort of desires, or, you know, our own sort of ego-driven pursuits. Because are we doing it to spite people, or are we doing it because it's real, because it's genuine? And I feel like the lesson here is to really be as genuine as you can, you know. And if you have to say some things that might upset people, say it, do it. Who cares? They'll get over it. You know, and if somebody says that to you, you know, especially if they're coming from someplace that's right, you can't brush it off. I feel like you have to be able to listen to them. And I think Libras are good listeners, at least the Libran energy, you know, not to generalize, but the ability to actually take in information. And that's the thing. Sometimes you take in so much information that you're not sure how to really see an issue. You'd rather just sit on the fence about it. But no more sitting on the fence, because there's something here. My nose is really itching. It's really annoying. But there's something here that is just like, look, you have to like pick a side of the fence, stand in whatever your truth is. That Three of Wands, come into a part of yourself that is comfortable with the threes are also all kind of about experience before getting to the next level. So you've built up this like knowledge, you've built up this well of, you've built up something, some sort of creative pursuit, or you have some skill that can sort of grow and flourish into something else. And so it's like, you can't be afraid, whether it's in terms of communication or in terms of like seeking a new job, or actually going out and putting yourself out there to find somebody to love. It's just that in order to come into that, there's a lot of baggage that needs to be let go of. And we're seeing it here with the Ace of Wands and the Six of Swords, where this new beginning is available to you. It's you have the ability to actually put what you want out into the world, but there's some emotional issues, there's some emotional drama that really needs to be resolved. And it's in direct response to this Five of Swords, where it's like things aren't actually going to go anywhere if you aren't willing to actually address the issue, if you aren't actually willing to pick a side of the fence, if you aren't willing to actually, you know, say what you believe in, to say what's on your mind, to say how you feel. Because ultimately what you want, you guys might have had that, I don't know if you guys had the Ace of Wands last time. That's probably why I should have watched the last video. But either way, it's just that you guys, it's time for you guys to like get to a point where it's just like, oh, you can't be afraid anymore. You can't have these old-fashioned, these old sort of dead ways of seeing things, of seeing people, of seeing your situation, of communicating, because that's not going to get you anywhere. Because you're just going to be wishing and wishing and wishing. The Ace of Wands can be where you're just wishing. It's just like active imagination, but you're not putting anything into action, which is the danger here, because there is only one pentacle here. And there's a lot of fire. So it's just like you might be in pursuit of something. You might sort of be everywhere to all people. You might have these ideas, these thoughts, these feelings, either sexual or creative or what have you, but it's not going to really be anything grounded in any sort of reality if you're not going to be able to address what these swords are asking you to address, which is, one, like there's a communication issue, whether you have an issue with communicating with other people where you are coming off as sort of resentful or bitter, or somebody else is causing you to sort of feel like that you're emotionally hemmed in, where they won't allow you to sort of speak what's on your mind, and what all you want is freedom. And freedom is like the main, it's like, because we have 3 of Wands, the Devil, and the 2 of Swords. And so it's like you have a choice. You can either choose to sort of take your passions and take what sort of go out and sort of put what you actually want to put out into the world, to go out and do that in whatever way is right for you, be it like, again, social, be it creatively, be it, even if this is like a love reading, to like sort of bring in this new energy within your relationship by addressing what this devil is, either codependence or addiction, or you're just overworking yourself, or there's a part of you that's like breaking down. There's a part of you that is sort of trapped in this toxic cycle. It could be any of those things. Because ultimately, I feel like, in my own readings, the readings I've given myself, I've had the 2 of Swords, like the last 4 readings I've given myself. And it's insane. And I've done them like days apart. And so it's just highlighting that this is a serious issue. This is a serious question that needs to be addressed. And it's not one that you can run away from. Either you make the choice or the choice is made for you. Because ultimately, it's like new things aren't going to happen if you're not ready or willing to actually let them happen. And so it's more like, do you have enough knowledge? No, that's not the right. You have enough information at your disposal. I feel like you have enough, there's so much history here. There's so much that precedes either you and this other person, that precedes you in whatever, like, if you want to, like, sing, or if you want to, like, act, or if you want to just, like, expand your circle of friends. I feel like friends of your friends, or your friends know people where it's just like, if they ask you to go to an event, or if they ask you to just sort of do something, but you're just like, oh, I don't know if I'll do it, because I feel like there's something here that's really holding you back. And the main message I'm getting, that for some of you, it is just one other person where they're controlling. They're manipulative. They're toxic for you. And you can we know when somebody is bad for us. There are no cups here. So that just lets me know that either the love is gone, or your feelings for this person is gone, but that maybe the sexual desire hasn't. But it's just that, a lot of us, at least people my age, I feel, and it could be anybody, we confuse sex with love. We'd rather have that intimate connection with sex. Somebody would rather control us through sex, and we'd rather just go along with it because we don't understand that we actually deserve more than that. We deserve empathy and compassion, and we deserve to be nurtured. And so it's like, fine, but this isn't going to be a thing where you can have your cake and eat it too. You can either just be trapped in this toxic relationship, and it. You can either do that, or you can have fun, cut them out, and join the rest of us. Because I feel like the rest of this reading is sort of like freedom at last. Because, if you feel like you can make it work with this person, maybe you can. And I'm not one to tell people to cut it off and break it off with people. But if they're toxic, come on, break it off. But maybe the person, they've just sort of fallen off, and they just need your help. Help them, but don't fucking be their mother. Like, we're adults here. Everybody's an adult. We can all take care of ourselves. We don't need We shouldn't need other people to actually, like, fucking change our diapers and feed us. Please, we're adults here. So, either you can tell this person, look, I'm willing to help you, but you have to meet me halfway. And if that's not the case, that'll never be the case. So I'm just going to let you know. And so, going forward, it's not like, with the Four of Wands and Ten of Pentacles, it's like, wow, this is a marriage, potentially for a lot of you. There's kids involved. There's family. There's history. And so this isn't something that you can just sort of break off. It's something that, at the end of the day, if it is toxic, it would certainly do you a lot better, because that sort of changes the meaning of these cards, where it's like, you've gone through the storm, you're coming through the storm, but whether or not you actually want to address, whether or not if you have the courage to actually go forward, that's entirely up to you. Because some of you probably don't really have that courage. You don't really have, again, you don't have that ability to sort of stand in your own 2 feet. But I feel like you better fake that ability, because that is ultimately what's going to help you going forward. Even if you are married, to like not be somebody's handmaiden, to not be somebody's like, any of that sort of thing, because we have obligations to people. We have, obligations to family, but we also have an obligation to ourselves. We have, and I'm saying this as a 26-year-old single man. So, everybody's experience is totally different. I understand. But from the way I see it, it's just like, if somebody's bad for you, common sense wise, if somebody's bad for you, cut them out. It's not worth the stress. It's not worth the drama, especially if they're fucking assholes, or if they're not giving you anything more, if they're not contributing anything to your life other than stress, drama, grief, pain, heartbreak, disappointment, over and over and over again. And if it's been that way for some time, and it's just like, we want this idea of a happy home, of a happy life, of, whatever history or our families have sort of indoctrinated us to believe, not to get political, but it's just that, we're living outside of our true purpose if we're doing things in direct conflict with our soul, if we're doing things that intentionally make us feel bad because we think it makes us feel good, because we don't know what it means to actually have something that feels good, because we're so hung up on the idea of the husband or the idea of the wife that's always there for us, or when in ultimate reality, these things are coming into conflict. You're with somebody, but they're not good for you. Or you're in a situation that you feel like you're stuck in, but you're not really stuck. There are ways to navigate into and out of situations, 6 of Swords, that will be painful, 5 of Swords, but hell, it's to our ultimate benefit, 3 of Wands. And then speaking of expansion with 3 of Wands, we have the fucking Wheel. And sorry to swear so much, but I just feel really passionate, because all of these cards, like I mentioned before I even did the reading, Libra, where it's just that you guys, there's this time in your life where you're seeing things, you're feeling things, you're witnessing things in all aspects of yourself, within yourself, reflecting in other people, within the depths of yourself emotionally, but also your place in the world. You're seeing, you're being more, the planets are having it, so you're more aware of all these things. And so with the Wheel and Judgment here, it's just that this is beautiful. This is like total, ultimate completion, fulfillment. And it's like, you can have everything, and it might not be as beautiful or as glamorous, as our dreams make them out to be, but hell, at least it's freedom. And so it's just like, you have that ability to bring that in. You have that choice to make, 2 of Swords. Now, whether or not you want to actually address the hurt, address the pain, address the addiction, address the messed up nature of all this, it's entirely up to you. Nobody can tell you what to do, Libra, but you. And so that's the lesson of Libra. Do you want to do it or don't you? I'm going to pull one more card. We have the 10 of Swords. Can you hurt any more than this? Maybe, but lessons come from this pain. Lessons come from this hurt. And I'm getting the sense that a lot of you already felt this before. Do you want to feel it again, or do you want to start something new? 10 of Swords, 10, the wheel, 20, judgment. There's nothing but completion. There's nothing but an opportunity for new beginnings here. 10 of Pentacles. So it's all up to you, Libra. Good luck, and I will see you guys next time